I call on the Honourable Chris Bishop.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. The Prime Minister's statement to Parliament lays out the government's agenda for the year ahead. And this government is focused on saying yes to growth opportunities and rejecting the negative politics of the past in which we invented reason after reason to say no to economic growth. Because it's easy to say no to things. It's the easiest thing in the world. As any new parent knows, saying no to kids is easy, as I've discovered. It's incredibly simplistic. It's incredibly easy. Actually, the tough decisions, the things that make a difference, are when you need to say yes. And for too long, this country has made a habit of just saying no. And everyone says they're in favour of growth. Well, apart from the Greens. The Greens are the official degrowth party. They're not in favour of economic growth, but most rational political parties are, apart from the Māori Party, they're also not in favour of growth. So let's leave the Te Pāti Māori and the Green Party out of this. Let's just pretend that this conversation is happening amongst rational, normal people. So the National Party and the Labour Party and New Zealand First and the ACT Party, we're in favour of growth. Most people, reasonable people, can agree on that. But the problem with that is it's easy to say you're in favour of growth. There's always a but. I'm in favour of growth, but growth's got to be equitable, as if that's a real thing. Growth's got to be sustainable. I'm in favour of growth as long as it doesn't involve foreigners making money. I'm in favour of growth as long as it doesn't involve trading with the rest of the world. I'm in favour of growth as long as we make sure that live animal exports are not allowed. I'm in favour of growth as long as we preserve every wetland everywhere in the country, even if it is in fact not a real wetland. I'm in favour of growth as long as someone doesn't make a buck out of it. I'm in favour of growth as long as it doesn't involve trade with the rest of the world. I'm in favour of growth as long as we don't build any McDonald's in Wanaka, which is the latest thing today. I'm in favour of growth as long as I can see everything. I'm in favour of growth as long as I can see Mount Eden from every part of Auckland, including on a particular part of the Auckland Harbour Bridge where the toll booth used to be 30 years ago till we removed it. I'm in favour of growth, except. That's been the story for 30 years. We just say we like growth, but we've found every reason under the sun to say no. And we wake up in 2025 and we find ourselves 35 to 40% poorer than Australia. We find ourselves with a productivity growth rate that's lower than most of our trading partners we like to compare ourselves to. And then... See, I told you they were the degrowth party. The Greens don't believe in growth. Well, here's the rub. They're the first people to complain about underfunding in hospitals and schools and all of the living standards and the things that the public goods that the New Zealand government should and does provide. But I tell you, here's the rub. How do you have a better public health system? Growth. How do you have a better standard of living? Growth. How do you have a better education system? Growth. In fact, here's the truth. What are the countries that look after the environment best? Wealthy countries that grow. The poorest economies in the world desecrate the environment. They ravage the environment. I invite the member to travel through the developing world. He will find the developing world going hell for leather on growth and actually half the time utilising natural resources from fossil fuels to grow, because the great driver of human history is growth. This idea that we should lock ourselves in a hermetically sealed vacuum off from the rest of the world and pretend and eat hemp or wear hemp and eat vegan food all day is nuts. It is nuts. And it's what the Greens believe. They're entitled to those beliefs. New Zealanders are entitled to believe them as well. But I aim, and we aim, for better things. We aim for better things. Fast-growing economies look after their people better. They look after the environment better. And that is why we are going for growth. About 20 years ago, there was an interesting exchange in the House about why Australia has access to better cancer drugs than New Zealand. and why Australia has better access to pharmaceuticals. And the simple reason is that they are wealthier than we are. And Michael Cullen said that 20 years ago. So, we've got to go for growth. That means everything the government is doing. It means fast track. And yes, there will be projects that the Green Party does not like, but I tell you what this country needs, it needs more roads. It needs more mines. It needs more renewable energy. It needs more solar farms. It needs to be easier to build wind farms in this country. It needs to be easier to just the simple task of subdividing a house. The simple task of putting a house on a section of farmland so that people can live in those houses. The simple task of adding extensions to houses without going through endless red tape by the local council and the regional council and all the plans that get in the way of that. We need to say yes to trade. Todd McClay, where is Todd McClay? Trade McClay. I don't want to see him in this house ever again. He needs to be offshore doing trade deals. He just come back from the UAE in the first 14 days. A fantastic deal. We're doing an investment summit, Mr. Speaker, in the coming weeks in March. And there'll be people, I make a prediction, the Green Party will turn up and say, this is really bad. We can't have foreign pension funds investing in New Zealand infrastructure because it might mean that someone makes a buck. I predict that. In fact, I hope the Labour Party won't say that. We'll see. We'll see. They are vaguely rational sometimes on growth. We need foreign investment. We need fast track. We need trade deals. We need our investment summit. We need planning reform. And this year we've got a big program of work around the RMA. And I guarantee you, the Labour Party, TBC, I guarantee you the Labour Party will oppose it. And I guarantee you Te Pāti Māori will oppose it. Mr. Speaker, it's time to stop saying no to everything and start to say yes. And it's interesting to look back over the Labour Party's response to this government's ambitious agenda so far, because we've got Mr No and Mr Slow over there. Mr No is Chris Hipkins, Mr Slow is Kieran McAnulty. Mr No, Chris Hipkins, not in favour of fast track, they voted against it. And it looked like he was in favour of digital nomad visas. We had this great idea, Louise Upson and Nicola Wilson and Erica Stanford announced it, and we thought, well, this is pretty good, and it went down extremely well. We've had a huge amount of interest from overseas, and Chris Hipkins said a year ago, this is a vision for New Zealand, digital nomads calling New Zealand home while using the international time difference to work productively and remotely. Well, I agree, but it turns out the Labour Party opposes that, like they oppose fast track, even though they came up with the original idea for it in the first place. Now, Mr Slow over there, when it comes to the speed limits in the Wairarapa, let me talk about the speed limits. There's been quite a bit of debate about this, and I want to acknowledge Mike Butcher, who's right down the back, but he's at the forefront of this debate. Done a fantastic job campaigning and overturning it. And the thing about that, I mean, I remember the so-called, who remembers the policy bonfire? Yeah, when Chris Hipkins came to government, Jacinda Ardern resigned as Prime Minister and everyone got very excited about life, all the stupid ideas that government was advancing. And New Zealanders said, oh, this is quite good, a policy bonfire. And Chris Hipkins stood up and said, I'm getting rid of all the speed limit changes, because he knew they were really unpopular, and then did nothing about it. And I think the good people of the Wairarapa got very excited because they thought, oh, this is quite good, the stupid 80k stretch from Featherston to Masterton, we're going to get rid of that. And nothing happened, and it took the election of a local national MP and a national government to get rid of it. And I'm pleased I made Kieran McAnulty's day around that. So we've got Mr No and Mr Slow, and then we've got Miss No Show over there, the finance spokesperson for the Labour Party, who is just not part of the economic debate. She's got two different positions at any one time. At the one hand, it's they're borrowing too much, and then the next minute, it's like you need to borrow more because we need to invest in this and that and the other thing. One time she's worried about, and then they can't make up their mind about the capital gains tax. And I'll make another prediction for the year ahead. I'll make another prediction of the year ahead because we've got Mr Piketty, David Parker down the back alongside the merry crew, and Helen White's smiling over there. Yeah, she's nodding and smiling. Yep. As David, because what's happening is there's a I hesitate to use the word coup, but there's a lobby in the Labour Party. Helen White, Phil Twyford, David Parker, and let's face it, 80% of the Labour Party membership who are going to push hard for a wealth tax. And the Labour Party needs to sort out its position. I'll tell you our position. They're both dumb ideas. Wealth taxes are stupid. Capital gains taxes are stupid. I tell you what is a good idea. going for growth. And that's what this government's going to do. And only when the Labor Party starts saying yes to economic opportunities will the public take them seriously. Thank you very much.